Did you not clap?
I clapped.
I did not hear a clap.
It sounded good
Okay.
on my end, but we can clap
That's-
again if you so choose.
No, I don't want to. I scared my dog.
Aww.
uh, okay. I won't.
I feel like those should be our openings, to be quite honest.
What, the claps?
Not the claps themselves, like the little like conversations we have after the claps.
I
I feel like they're very fun.
I've put in a couple of those, but it mostly boils down to context because most of the time we're discussing the clap, and I'm not putting the clap in the podcast. I put the clap in like one episode because we did some funny stuff immediately after the clap, and I wanted to do that, but that was the only time, and I had to like turn the audio down for the clap so quiet 'cause it's such a peak. Um, no, I wanted to ask about. So do you? I'm gonna make this quick. Do
Okay.
you? Uh, do you? Did you ever have like a moment in your childhood where you learned that you know plants and trees and vegetation and shit, they absorb carbon dioxide and exhale oxygen, and it's like a big cycle, and it helps us to breathe, and that's why trees are important and we need more trees. Did you have a moment where you learned that, and your first instinct as just a small little baby is, I gotta go breathe in a tree. I
No, I
gotta go
can't
breathe in
say
a
that.
tree.
you know, believe it or not, I can't say that I did.
I did. I did have like moments where I had I came into the realization like plant trees, they need carbon dioxide. It's their air. and then I and then I and then I dashed out of the house and over to a tree and just breathed on it for a bit, and I was in my head, I was feeding the tree.
So you just straight up went like full Doctor Who, I give you air from my lungs.
I don't have context for that.
It is literally the second episode of New Who.
I I mean,
We're
yeah.
slapping that into the list. I'm gonna make you watch season 1 of Doctor Who.
That's gonna be a fun one.
It sure is. And you're gonna love every second of it.
I'm sure it's not. I know
Get
that
ready for a Super Who Lock 2020.
I know that early Doctor Who isn't like bad. It was just when Stephen Moffat took over. Uh,
Well, I don't know that lineage yet. I've forgotten. I used to know it really well.
well, it's yeah. Anyway,
I have the unpopular opinion of not liking 11 at all, but that's not what this episode is about.
we're not talking about.
Andrew,
We're talking about.
what is this episode about?
Oh shit! I don't have. Had so much time to open up the Wikipedia page.
And you don't have it. You
Oh.
don't have it. I put my faith in you, and you let me down.
Today we are talking about a very good show that I love a whole lot called Noragami. Uh, Noragami translates to stray god, so that's fun. Um, it was a manga series written and illustrated by Arachitoka. Arachitoka. I don't know if that's their name or their pen name or whatever. Uh, it it was in Monthly Shonen magazine. What the fuck is that? Whoa. Uh,
Wait, you don't know what a monthly shonen is?
no, but I only know about Weekly Shonen. I thought that was the only one.
No, like the Your Turn to Die manga is monthly.
Oh, okay. I just didn't know there was a magazine that was like, this is a monthly shonen mag. It just seems like a
Indeed.
like off
Stuff
brand.
takes forever.
Seems like an off brand. Anyway, it was a little shonen manga, and it's just very funny. And then they turned it into an animation series by Studio Bones, good animation company, Studio Bones, who did all kinds of other shit. They did fucking Soul Eater, dude. They did Mob Psycho.
They did Mob Psycho. They
They
did
did
My Hero.
They did a little bit of My Hero, I think. There's a lot of teams that worked on My Hero.
That's true. But I
Uh,
think isn't Studio Bones the main?
Probably. They also did Space Dandy. Fucking. They did Full Metal Alchemist. They did Ouran High School Host Club.
Well,
it's good. And they and and it's got 2 seasons, and we're this is gonna be a funny little bit for our podcast. This is the first time we're gonna do a two-parter because we tried to do a two-parter uh with Demon Slayer and then gave up because it was taking a while and we didn't want to. But this one, it is a 2 season series, and I want to watch both seasons, so we're going to do 2 parts.
Yep.
Uh,
So we're not even in double digits before we're breaking format, but that's okay.
yeah, and they're gonna come out. It's we're gonna break our little like our scheduling loop. Also, well, not scheduling, but we're gonna put out both Noragamis in order. We're not gonna like sequence break them up with a show that Elena's showing me. Uh, and then
Which will be
Elena
fun
and then Elena can have 2 if she wants, and that's up to her. Uh,
if I can find it.
if you can find one. And it's like just a fun little show, and the fucking opening kicks so much ass. Both of them are so good, and we're gonna watch those every time.
So my experience with this show is I tried to watch it once on Netflix, so I was super excited because I was like, I have heard so freaking much about this. I really want to watch it. And then I got like 30 seconds into the opening, and then Netflix said no. And it kind of shut down on me, and so I was like, well, fuck this, I guess. And then I didn't watch it. And I'm very excited to watch it now.
I'm really excited to get to this. My experience with the show is so strange because I watched the first season like when it came out, and I loved it, and then I forgot about it. Like I just forgot that it existed, and then I found that a second season had come out while I had forgotten about it, and I watched all of that, and I loved it just as much as I loved the first one, maybe even more, and then I forgot about it again.
Andrew.
I don't know, like, but now that I've been kind of thinking about this show a lot, it has been more in my conscious mind, and a big reason that it is in my conscious mind a lot more is that both of the openings are on Spotify.
Oh, are they really? That's always fun when they put.
But because the openings were made by real like J-rock groups, so they just put the songs on their channels.
Makes sense.
And it's
Always gotta appreciate when that happens.
and it fucking kicks ass. So we're gonna go through both of these, and it's gonna be incredible.
I am so excited. I've literally wanted to watch this for. When did Noragami come out? Because I've wanted to watch it
came
since
out
then.
It came out in March 23rd, 2014. Nope.
Yeah, sounds about
January
right. Nope.
5th, 2014.
Yeah, sounds about right. I've got a bad concept of time, but that sounds like freshman year. No, that would have been junior year.
So yeah, I'm with this one. I mean, like we can talk. It's been this is our fucking shortest little intro bit, but I don't care. I want to watch this show as soon as possible.
We want to watch the show.
So
we're dipping out of here.
yeah, we're gonna leave. Go enjoy the little interlude song, and go watch this show, even if you haven't seen it before, or if you have seen it before, watch it again. I
Just
swear
go
to God.
watch it again.
Uh,
I'm very excited.
Goodbye.
Like, holy shit.
Goodbye.
Bye.
So I take dog to beach like all the time because
Uh-huh.
it's really sad living in a beach town in the current times because I get to go to the beach like every day because dog walk, and it's really convenient and also better than just walking on like concrete for her and her weak paws.
Right.
Um, but it's so sad going to the beach and being like, man, these people don't care. These several people are just out here, just hanging, just chilling. And I mean, like, they aren't with other people. Like, it's mostly just like families kind of just like chilling out by themselves, and they aren't like going up to other groups. But it's just like, why are you at the beach in the first
Well,
place?
why are you at the beach?
Because I need to be at the beach for dog. Dog is not going to have a fun time staying inside. I can stay inside as long as I need to. I make a point to not get close to anyone while I'm at the beach.
Do you wear a mask at the beach?
I should.
Well, knowing you should is the first step to doing.
I definitely
Wear a mask, people.
yeah, I definitely should. I cuz I mean the our governor, Washington's governor, fucking Jay Inslee, his whole statement right now is he tweets like every day about wearing masks, and I get it because it's, I mean, he's the governor, he's got to say something. But he's also always like, you are only obligated to wear a mask in a situation in which you cannot social distance. And I mean, like, I get that, but probably still should. I just don't. I never remember. And then I'm like halfway down the street.
Well, hook it wherever you put your dog walking stuff.
I suppose I should. You know what? A new year, new me.
Well, sure.
I no, the that's a bummer of a story, but there was a funner story about dog and beach and antics. So I've mentioned this before. There's like a lot of like dunes at the beach over here, uh, and you can just kind of like walk through the little like footpaths that have been, you know, stamped down by people over time. There's just like a lot of natural trails of this is where people have decided to walk, and uh, I was walking on that with the dog, and uh, we came across just like a little thing in the path, like in the middle of the path. There was just like a little like object on the ground, and my dog was very interested in it, and I was like, what is this? Because it was like small and round and like kind of tan. I was like, what is this weird thing? And then it scurried away because it was a small mouse. It was a shrew.
Oh,
It was
fun.
just standing in the middle of the, like, I get that they live in the dunes, but it was in the footpaths, bro. You aren't supposed to be there. Like
He's just
it
chilling,
was just chilling in the center of the road.
as you do.
And my dog was very excited about that, and I had to really make use of my big boy strength to be like, we're leaving, dog. You can't this is not your shrew. Uh, and that's basically the story. It's there's not really much of a like a moral, ethical, like message. Like where it's not a grim tale, Mother Goose moral of the story. It's just there was a shrew in the road.
Well, not every story actually needs a lesson behind it.
Yeah, I mean, arguably, if I'm gonna tell it, maybe it should. Yeah.
Well, maybe if you're gonna tell, but not every story.
Well, who
Anyway,
knows?
welcome back to the second half of Andrew Doesn't Talk About Anime.
I hate anime. Okay. I
Thank you for your dog stories.
no, it's I no, I don't I I'm just digging myself a hole. I'm not gonna I was gonna say
I'm sorry, I
I
didn't
was
mean to
gonna
throw off your groove.
I was gonna say something along the lines of I wouldn't call myself like a weeaboo, but
Oh,
that's literally like if I said that out loud, it would be
like you just did.
like I just did. It would mean a lot more. Like you could really, really read into that.
Like I have.
Like I'm assuming you have. Um,
Oh, Andrew, my dear friend, who's certainly not a weeaboo.
I'm definitely not. I just, I don't know. It's like there are people who watch more anime than me.
I don't think that should be our standard.
I'm just saying I don't watch as much anime as I could.
Well, why aren't you?
Cause I don't really want to. It's anyway, so speaking of anime, man, oh, wonderful. How did we get to this topic? Speaking of
Excellent segue, my friend.
speaking of incredible anime that everyone should watch, even if you aren't a weeaboo, we watched Noragami, the first season.
It was so good.
It was just a fun little show. I mentioned this. I think I mentioned this in the opening half. But yeah, I watched this show and then I forgot about it. And then I watched season 2 and then I forgot about it again. And then I remembered it like a third time, and I like showed it to my mom, and she was into it and I was into it, and then I found out that the openings are on Spotify, and I saved those to my playlists, and now I have yet to forget about this anime because I'm listening to the fucking openings every day.
As you do.
They're fucking kick ass. I like fucking it's no shade, no shade to the any previous series we may have been covering, or the current anime of airing season currently, but this show's openings kick so much ass. Like, they're so good. The the first one is definitely, I would say, the weaker of the two, and so we'll get to the second opening soon because we're definitely doing season 2 at some point soon, probably next, exactly. uh but it's I'm getting ahead of myself. Elena,
Yes.
what were how did you like our funny friends Yato, Yukine, and Hitori?
I I love them so much. I want to protect them and like hold them close and like let nothing hurt them.
They are such they're good, genuine friends and boys and girls and pals, and that's who they are. You can't take that away from them. I
it it was strange because I was, watching it and I was enjoying the show like from the very beginning. There was no moment where I was like, "Oh, this is overrated." But I was watching it and I was just kind of like, "Okay, it just kind of seems like another kind of like normal girl gets mixed up with like some supernatural bullshit kind of a thing."
mhm.
And then we got to Yukine and I was like, "Oh, okay, so they threw a boy in here, which is great." And then I think, is it episode 9 when
uh
they kind of just like shit hits the fan
they just
with
like slap you in the face with
yeah,
the
and
amount
I'm
of
like, "Oh, oh,
no,
it's really fucking
I
good."
want to talk about that in detail in a bit, but I want to like build up to it because that is definitely like the peak of the ending, like the ending of season 1 where they fight big bad guy. It's fun and it has like nice feelings with her remembering because of scent, which I mean is a bit weird, but also it makes sense. Humans
It's
remember
a
a lot
cat
of shit
thing.
through scent. uh,
That as well.
and also, yeah, cat thing. Uh, but that the Yukine's character arc is the peak of the show, and we're gonna discuss it a lot because I love it.
I love him.
I
He's
love We
great.
love him.
That's a boy. Love
That's
him.
like a guaranteed boy. That's
Guaranteed boy.
100% genuine boy. Farm to table boy. I no, so uh it's the whole time I was watching it, I was thinking about other media with similar characteristics. And the one that I was always coming back to, for some reason, I mean, like, I get it. They're very, I don't want to say similar because one of them is clearly superior and it's this anime. Um, but the dynamic between Yato and Hitori is very reminiscent of fucking Twilight.
You shut up.
It's it's very reminiscent of Twilight. Um, and I Twilight's bad. So so this
Oh my
show
god.
luckily is better than Twilight. But I was thinking about it a lot because I was thinking like they are very clearly setting up like a romantic subplot. It's not necessarily like they are definitely friends first.
Right.
But it can go there. And then I was thinking like, is it a bit weird because he's like a god and he's ancient and she's like a teenager? And then I was like, wait a minute, Twilight did this same shit.
Are you kidding? This has been a trope since like things I mean since like Greek times.
Hmm.
And I don't want to discuss the morality of like gods in relationships with mortals.
Yeah, it.
But it does seem like Yato is mentally at least
Yeah, no, it's that's
Hitori's age.
he's written as like a teen who can drink, pretty much. uh, but that's, I mean, whatever. We don't have to. I was just thinking I was thinking a lot of the time when I was watching. I was like, man, Twilight did the same shit, and like no one yelled at Twilight.
Yes, they did.
I mean, they yelled at him for other things. They yelled at him for being like racist and having the werewolf be in love with a baby.
Well, first off, her, uh, the author.
Yes.
Um, but no, it was bad.
This is a yeah. It's
Uh,
bad. No, we
all
don't
the
talk about Twilight.
I could dedicate a whole ass episode just like a monologue of me discussing Twilight and like the way the fandom is divided into people who are like okay with like the whole Breaking Dawn bullshit ending with Jacob and Renesmee. Renesmee? I don't actually know how to pronounce it. I didn't watch the movies.
That's fine.
And people who were like, that's fucked up.
100% CGI baby.
We don't have to talk about the baby. We can't talk about the baby.
No. So we're gonna talk about
Oh my god.
a better piece of media, which is Noragami. It fucking kicks so God, like
It kicks ass.
Studio Bones. How are you always here? How are you always here? You're like, let me make 2 Full Metal Alchemists and Soul Eater and Mob Psycho 100, and oh, by the way, also Noragami.
It's very good.
Studio Bones. Oh my god. It's
I could definitely see the like I sometimes have difficulty like be like, oh, this is like a certain studio's work, but definitely like I could see the relation between like the demons and the spirits in Noragami and the spirits in Mob Psycho 100.
oh yeah, no, that was
kind of like luminescent
very stylized, very fun.
Yeah.
I
It was very nice.
It's also very funny that I'm pretty sure they animated this. Yeah, no, because Soul Eater came out in like 2007, 2008 or something, and it's very fun that they were like, can we get another one where people turn into weapons and we can do little stylized shots of them like flying into the air?
They're like, we missed that, bring it back.
This is a bit off topic, but back when cons used to happen, and then also back when I used to enjoy going to cons, I attended a Soul Eater panel, and it was like people cosplaying a Soul Eater doing like Q&A and shit, very very basic con going activities, and someone in the audience asked the person who was cosplaying as the main kind of protagonist character from Soul Eater, her name is Maka Albarn, and by the way, played by Laura Bailey, the one, the only. But they asked her like, if you weren't in Soul Eater, what media would you want to be in? Which is a very wild question.
Very meta.
Like if you didn't live in Soul Eater, where would you want to live? But I mean, I get it, it's fun. And that cosplayer was just like, I think I would choose Noragami so that I could still have a weapon partner. And everyone in the audience was like, that's incredible. This is life. This is love. And that's a bit off topic. No, but was there any other characters that kind of like spoke out to you that weren't a part of the main like trio?
I liked I am completely blanking on their names, but the pink-haired girl and her
I forget
partner.
her name is too. No, the only one that I'll look up their name, but I do know who you're talking about. Yeah, she's the god of like misfortune.
Yeah, of poverty.
Poverty, that's right.
Yes, her.
I really love their fun. I loved the they had that scene when Bishamon was like talking to her and was like, hey, you need to tell me where the fuck Yato is because he's a piece of shit and I'm gonna kick his ass. And then she just like dropped the cutesy girl act and just like stood entirely up and was like, if you fuck with him, I will end you.
Yes, we stand a queen.
Powerful woman.
I love her.
Kofuku. And what's the guy's name? Where is he? Oh God, Wiki, where are you?
Are you on the character
I'm on
wiki?
the character wiki, and it's just showing.
When in doubt.
Where is he? Hold on. Oh,
Guess I guess I need to
I'll
get
just go
interlude
through
there.
Kofuku because he's definitely
Yeah, I
on
was
her
gonna.
on her. Uh, uh, oh,
Kofuku.
Daikoku. That's right.
Right.
Uh, I liked Daikoku. I liked his dynamic with her. I did not like that the main joke about his character is that um he was more feminine than normal, and they made that a joke at that he's like a big pervert.
Oh yeah, I just deleted that from my mind and didn't remember until you
It's
brought it up.
it was just like he's just like a nice guy, and then they were like, oh well, that obviously he must be a total piece of shit then. uh
I mean, anyway.
uh but I liked his dynamic. He was the I liked him and Kofuku's, like
Yes.
they had a very fun, like those like Twitter couples that are always posting about each other.
Yes. They were very cute.
uh yeah.
I don't. I liked. I really liked the three that helped Yukine.
Oh yeah, no, that's
Just they all are like incredible characters, and I want to know more about them.
I forget what but yeah, one of them was his old Yato's old weapon, who went to go work
Right.
for Tenzin, one of them. Uh, uh, and then they got Bishamon's funny guy, who is
Mm-hmm.
he's very fun. I really like. He turns into a flower earring.
I love that. Love that
uh,
for him. I really want to know about what happened between him and Yato that made him so
mm.
devoted.
He
I
just
guess.
didn't hate him. It's pretty much. He just didn't.
I don't know, cause
I mean, he did risk his life
they
to save
yeah,
Yukine.
because if the thing had failed, we keep saying we're gonna like
I do. Okay.
build up to this,
Okay.
but like we
Okay.
keep
Then.
coming back to it because it's the
Okay.
pivotal moment of the story.
It's such a good here. Then I'll do the. I've been thinking about a way to like build up to this funny little topic for a bit, because it's to part the curtain. It's been a little bit since we watched the show, so I've had a lot of time to think about it. Uh,
Right. It
uh
has been a while. It's been a couple weeks.
yeah. I I wanted to wash dishes after we finished it, and I wasted our one chance.
Yeah.
uh,
It's fine.
it's fine. No, I still certainly remember the show, fucking point for point. Um,
Well,
so they introduce Yukine in like episode 2 because Yato needs a weapon and he needs to fight big demons with it. And Yukine is just like a weird kid who just wanted to keep being dead pretty much because he like his whole life basically sucked until he died. Uh, and he's a very very well written and very very much a teen in that regard, because he spends basically since day one, he spends all of his time just fucking around and causing problems because he didn't ask to be born, basically, or reborn, I guess you could say. And the they established that every time that he does something shitty or just non-godly, he pricks Yato with like a just like a little prick of fucking
light.
blight, yeah. and it's got a wild ruling, but it makes a lot of sense if you think about like just general godlyhood. Like he's not like he can't think sexual thoughts because that's not what gods do. uh, so it's a fun weird little setup, and the story kind of culminates with uh, a big moment. I'm sure I don't know why I have to describe it. If you're watching this, you've watched the show. But
Yeah.
it culminates with like a big moment of him causing a lot of damage to Yato, and then the whole gang kind of getting together to perform a big like ritual on him to basically make him repent all of his sins. uh, and uh, it's a big moment of him like fighting against people who are trying to help him, and then having to like learn to say that he's sorry for the shitty things that he did and to accept the shitty point of life that he has and the fact that he's never going to be alive anymore. And it's a really good episode. It's a really good fucking like series of episodes. Just like the whole little like build up and dramatic payoff, and it's really good. And I've just been talking. I wanna bring up a topic point that we can go back and forth on, so it's not just me the whole time. Uh, what is your like opinion and like like feelings about plot armor in media?
Plot armor?
Plot armor, like the idea that like because someone is a main character or they haven't finished their
Right.
arc yet, they cannot be like hurt or killed.
Right. It truly depends on how it's done. And how within, I mean, it really just depends on how it's handled within that piece of media. If one attack that straight up just eviscerates one character then like takes its time like with another character bleeding out so he can have its final moments or like limp away to recover, that's bullshit. If it's just that people are able to survive OP things in general, like within that one piece of media, that's generally okay because that means it's like gonna start that sentence over. That means that it's established within that world that people just like tend to survive in general. But like, if it's like stupid like Deus Ex Machina stuff, then like I kind of roll my eyes and just kind of move on.
Yeah, I very much have the same general opinion. It is definitely like a case for case basis. I think I think generally like overall it's kind of all right plot armor, especially if the point of the story is not for the characters to have to necessarily fail, then it's all right. No one's gonna complain
Right.
about fucking Goku Dragon Ball who gets punched a billion times.
I would complain about Goku Dragon Ball.
I mean, all right. But I wanted to bring it up because the first time I watched this show, the little arc, Yukine's character arc with him like growing to be a better person, it genuinely had me unaware of like what the outcome was going to be.
Right.
And looking back on it, I can see that I mean, it wasn't necessarily plot armor, but it was pretty obvious that, they were building to something and it was going to have like a resolution, and it wasn't going to, obviously if they didn't resolve it like that, it was going to not be a very good moment and not make people feel nice. But in the moment, they had set it up so well that there was a part of me when I was first watching this stupid show where I was like, he's gonna die? Is he gonna die? Is this just gonna like what's the show gonna be after that?
See, I wasn't concerned for Yukine because like you mentioned, in hindsight it is like obviously like there's one way it could resolve without the anime just kind of taking like a shitty twist in how it treats its audience, which is a whole other topic entirely. When things present itself as one thing and then like does a bullshit twist just for the hell of it, to get like a shock out of their audience. But I was concerned for the 3 that put their necks out to save Yukine, because they mentioned that no one had ever survived. What is the word I'm looking for? Giving a ablution.
Yeah.
So like I was like, it could very well be that Yukine survives and the other 3 don't.
Yeah, definitely. That's definitely one way. It's just there was such a, at least to me personally, there was such a point to focus on how much he was struggling that it was a small part of my psyche, but it was still there of being like, is he just not gonna make it? And
Yeah.
the fact that a show could do that is a big testament to the quality of the show.
It really is.
Like it's
Like,
it's really something else.
yeah, it's very often when watching media that like a lot of people are like, oh well, I'm not gonna get too like stressed over this because obviously the characters aren't going to die or
Yeah,
anything.
yeah, that's
But like this had me like I knew Yukine wasn't gonna die, but I was still like on the edge of my seat, like for like the other characters, for I mean hell for Yato,
mm-hmm.
because what a twist that would have been. Um, which by the way, I love what that whole scene did. Like Yato was unconscious for like all of it, but it still did so much to like kind of develop his character
Mm-hmm.
and his relationship with Yukine. Like he refused to give up on Yukine, and I was just like, oh my god.
Yeah, it's good. Man, it's as someone who like watched the show, obviously I knew that how good of a character Yato was, but I'm fully aware that he does not get the best like introduction. Like he's pretty much like a huge asshole for the majority of the show, but he is funny, so that is a part of it.
But
um,
he's funny, so him being an asshole's okay.
I mean, it's mostly like godly, holier than thou assholeness in that regard.
Mm-hmm.
Like he doesn't really give a shit about how much Hiyori's like freaking the fuck about her body because he doesn't
Right.
care.
He's also
Um,
probably seen it a fair amount of times.
yeah. Um, it's just such a, it's just, but he's so he has a it's he's one of those characters that like doesn't he's like kind of like a big dipshit asshole for the most of the time, but you know that he has a very very strict like moral like uh just morality to him that it's very respectable. He's a very like where it counts, he's a very cool guy.
Mm-hmm.
uh
Yeah, because I believe, like, in the first, like, outsider point of view we get of him is um, Kofuku's partner.
yeah. uh
And when he's like, oh, that guy, he wants a shrine so badly that he'd do, like, anything requested of him.
mm,
Which gives you, like, a very kind of, like, a, oh shit, kind of a outlook on his character. But, like, it's not quickly proven. Like, it gives you several moments of ambiguity on what Yato might do. Um, but it does set the record straight that Yato does actually have his limits and his boundaries on how he's changed from the god he used to be in the past.
mm-hmm. Yeah, and uh kind of in relation to that, the Nora, the character who shows up just fucking all over the goddamn place, is very cool. I like she's very fun. uh, and she's got that direct tie to his past that makes her very very notable. And her character
Yes,
design fucking kicks ass. Uh,
she's very fun. I want to see more of her.
I just I love the way that she's introduced as like
Mm-hmm.
okay, so they establish names and weapons and shit, and they show that Yato's first partner, he had to like remove her name so that she could go on to go get a new one. And then he got
Right.
Yukine, and Yukine had the little tattoo like on his shoulder blade or whatever the fuck. No, it was
Mm-hmm.
wherever that is. I forget what that's called. The little bone
The,
underneath your neck.
the collarbone.
Yes, I guess. Uh, but he had the tattoo right there, and they don't really make a big like. No one ever really mentions like the concept that you could have more than one. But then all of a sudden, this fucking lady shows up, and she has like 100,
Yeah.
and you're just like, who the fuck is that? Uh,
Yeah.
it's really really well executed. Um, I love the way that they establish like obviously she's like teleporting around or whatever the fuck, but it's very mysterious. Like they always cut away to like a little like water droplet or just like water in general and then cut back and she's there. So they never show
Mm-hmm.
how she gets there. She just shows up.
He just kind of pops in.
Yeah. um and it's just a such a fun. She's super super well done and I really like just all of all of what she's supposed to represent.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, but yeah, uh, that's I mean, I it's such a wild little story. Like there's not really much else. Oh, what did you think of fucking Bishamonten?
She was fine.
I
Um,
I think she's funny.
yeah, I mean, she's definitely a character that appeals to a lot of people. Um, she's, but she just kind of seems like that general, typical. I mean, she's General Armstrong.
Yeah, yeah, she kind of is. I mean,
Like
she's
even her design is. I mean, and
yeah.
that's just a very tropey kind of woman character. Although I do like that you can very much tell that she does care very deeply for her team,
Mhm. It's very
and very
nice.
much cares even about their opinion on her actions.
Mhm.
Um, which I think is a very I did like those moments where she kind of like softened up and was like, all right, well, my team is more important than my goals.
Mhm. I
Um,
really like
I
the
don't dislike her.
oh no, no, that's fine. It's yeah, it'll be something that we can talk about at a later point. Definitely.
Yeah, I figure
Uh
there's more to her.
yeah, I as much as I mean it's definitely like anime tropey and I shouldn't like it as much as I do, but I do think it is very funny that they introduce her and she's got this fucking wild design with just like the anime bra and the skirt and the fucking
Yeah.
and the like jacket and it's like is this her, is this god, is this what god looks like, and then it's like no, that's people, bro. those
Yeah.
those people, that's people who were like I'm because like they established that like the it's like one of the girls is her bra. That's wild.
Yeah.
That's a wild. they just set they just were like, all right, this is our story. uh I also like the implication that she'll put on all of her clothes, but the transformation like scene will she'll start in like full military getup already, and then when she puts
Right.
on all the clothes, she's suddenly naked. So is she did they is it like glass? What did they do?
Well, and also like the what are they called? Like the I remember there's like a specific term for the people who are like the weapons.
Uh, regalia,
Is that
regalia.
yeah? So the regalia, they're weapons, which means
it's
Bishamon considers it's very interesting now that I say it out loud. Bishamon considers her clothing a weapon, which thus means that she like kind of would then lead into how she views her body as a weapon. So I'm sure that has many implications that many other people would love to consider that I don't want to go into right now.
just
Um,
big, strong, buff.
big, strong,
She's
buff.
got a cloud strife sword.
She does. That's pretty cool. I like that she just straight up has like a lion.
It's one of the dudes turns into a lion.
Yeah, that's very fun.
uh,
I do love that.
they establish with the funny lion guy the fact that the weapons can get hurt. I mean, obviously, you
Mm-hmm.
can assume that, but they establish it really well with he gets hurt as a lion and then he has to start wearing an eye patch because his fucking eye got fucked up.
Right, which does have I want because it's the gods that determine the weapon's form, right? You brought that up when we were
It's
discussing the end battle.
it's weird. It's like a weird little. It's like half and half, I would assume. I don't know if they ever establish it in story, but it's clear that like Yato isn't he when because he didn't have a fucking weapon. So
Right.
if he went up to Yukine and Yukine just turned into like a fucking like a bar of soap or something, like he wouldn't have anything, he wouldn't be able to do anything with that. So clearly
Right.
it's they turn into what the god needs, but it's
I mean, I would
also
imagine that there are simply some souls that are. I mean, because he uses Yukine for the first time, or what is his
Seki
weapon name? Seki.
Seki.
Seki. Um, and Yato is surprised by how sharp he is, which reflects like how like angry and bitter and hurt Yukine is. So I would imagine it's
It
mostly
yes.
dependent on the soul in question.
It is, but it's just because like
But
the
also the
way
god has to be compatible.
it's just such a weird because like there's some things about that, like the fact that when Yato's former partner goes to Tenjin, whatever his name is. I
Mm-hmm.
think it's Tenjin. I think Tenzin's a guy from Danganronpa. uh, Tenjin. Uh, she just turns into like his smoking pipe. Like that's what she is.
Right.
And like before that, she was a knife. so so
Right.
clearly there's it has something to do with the god, but it's also like Yato mentions when he picks up Yukine, he mentions, it's very sharp, but he also mentions that the katana is he's very much more used to that type of weapon. Like that's what he knows how to use. Uh, and so the fact that he just had a knife before and probably wasn't as good at it is a little it's like it seems like they get turned into what the god needs, but not they don't necessarily have a control over that. That
It sounds like it's more of a compatibility thing. Like the soul adapts to what.
uh, that might be it. Yeah, because they definitely didn't have much of him and that old. I do like that they established that his old weapon still like. I mean, she doesn't like him, but she's like doesn't want him to die. like
Yeah, she's like, I mean, it sounds like a name is something that's just. I mean, I couldn't imagine being like a nameless individual. So it must be pretty hard to forget someone who gave you life essentially again
yeah.
and renamed you. Which is kind of what it seemed like she was saying when she was saying, like, suggesting why she would help Yato.
Mhm. Yeah, it's nice. She's nice. I do like her. Uh
She's very fun. I want to know more about her.
I but yeah, it's just such a weird little show, and they yeah, I another thing I liked about Yukine's weapon form is that he's very specifically not a katana, he's a naked blade. He's just a blade
Right.
with ribbon,
Mm-hmm.
which is a I don't I'm not smart enough to go into any sort of like you know, fucking implications of that or like whatever symbolism that might have. But it is a very
Well, it
fun little. He's not just a katana.
yeah. To me, it suggests that he simply has room to grow. He's not. I mean, because he's a teenager.
hmm
Yato very specifically points out that Yukine is a pretty much a child. Um, so to me, it just kind of seems like he doesn't know much what who he is at this point, but he knows that he's hurt and angry and ready to destroy.
hmm
Which honestly, mood.
I I just really love. I'm not. I think I when I was like a little kid, I was definitely more religious, and I have grown out of that because you know what? Who cares?
Oof.
Not great, not a great system, but I
Nope.
love the way that they use that as not necessarily like an infallible like all gods are perfect, but as like a like you you kind of do just have to respect them, like you kind of have to because they the setup of the reason that gods take on like they get blighted if their person does anything shitty is because they fucking have fully taken on the responsibility of a human who is fallible.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
Yeah, I don't know enough about like Japanese religion to suggest where that might come from, but it does very much remind me of like, you know, classic Jesus dying, the sky turned black
mhm.
kind of a thing.
uh, like I really I love a media where they make like God characters people. It's just such a
Yes,
nice little.
I agree.
it-
It's good.
It's just nice. Like there are some media that don't do it perfect because they still try to like maintain the concept of like, well, they're still gods, so they're still like, all knowing and infallible and perfect. But like, no, this was just like,
Right.
no, it's just like a guy. He's just a guy, and he used to do murders because no one would pray for him unless he did a murder.
Which, I mean, I guess when you're a god, you gotta do what you gotta do. Or something.
uh, yeah, I, it's such a fun little setup. You didn't really make a big deal about it when we were watching, but I remember being very I laughing a lot about it when I first watched the scene where they where so uh okay, I've forgotten what her name is. the main
The
the
main
main
girl?
girl, Hiyori.
Hitori?
Hiyori
Hiyori.
she starts forgetting because Nora takes her fucking memory out into like a little marble or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then uh, she forgets about Yato, but she doesn't forget about Yukine just yet because all Nora really cared about was having her forget about Yato.
Right.
Um, and Yato starts drawing the little like manga comic of their adventures together, and then doesn't finish, and
Mm-hmm.
then she forgets about everyone, so he never finishes it because he thinks that it's kind of like useless at that point. Uh, and Yukine wants to still show it to her to see if she'll remember. Uh, and they have that little like setup where he's showing her all the drawings, and then he gets to the last page, and he just like he has to like gulp down a lot of fucking of bravery to turn the page and show his little doodle.
I don't know what you're talking about. I didn't make a big deal out of it. I was crying over that.
I
That was such a huge moment for Yukine.
I did you weren't being like very verbal about it, so I was like I assume that you were vibing with it hard like I was, but it was just such a it was like I was expecting you to be like, "Oh my God. Oh my God." Like he had to draw a little picture.
It was, listen, I knew that that was gonna be like the big twist with the whole was that it wasn't Yukine. Like they kind of made that obvious.
Mm.
Like leading up into it, which really good setup on that end, by the way. Um, establishing that Yato could draw, but like Yukine's the one who does draw. Um, but because they also don't show Yukine's skill up until that point, they just show him drawing. Um, oh my gosh, no, that absolutely like tore me apart because she hadn't forgotten by this point. She still remembered Yukine.
Yeah.
And then she forgets like right in front of him.
It just
And that just had I they just fucking Shioned her. Right in front of me. That's always my weakness is like characters forgetting or being forgotten. And like holy shit.
it's such a
Horns in the background.
yeah, it's fine. So
But oh my gosh, that was there was a lot going on over here. I think I muted because I was like crying.
it's it's just such a man, like they really I it's, like normally media likes to try to save like the like silly little doodle like feelings for like a
Uh-huh.
little kid who will like draw a picture of their fucking like family or whatever. But they were like, Yuki's not an artist, so he tried his best.
He did his best,
I
and
mean,
like you could like
you,
see the emotion. And oh,
you know what?
Yukine!
He had some fucking sick ass Copics though. Like he really like
He's just still Yato's good art supplies.
he did. They bought. I can't. They just like did.
Left the caps
They
open.
just did. They did just buy a bunch of Copics. Like they were like, Yato spent his entire like he's a god. He's immortal. He must have been saving for like thousands of years, and he spent it all on Copic markers.
He had to take care of his new semi-son person.
Uh,
Oh, I love them. It's a very good show, very touching.
it's
Um,
it's such a
because you can see the setup for the romantic subplot between Yato and Hiyori, but their friendship is still very very good, and very well developed, and I love them.
I I I don't know how much more I have to mention about it because I mean, like, I guess I could go on for a billion million years about how good of a show it is, but that's more rambling. But I do have one last like major topic that I was thinking about, which is I really like the way that they make Hiyori like capable. Like
Yes,
she's
I love her. We didn't get to talk about Hiyori much, but I figure it seems like we're gonna talk about her a lot in part two of this.
yeah.
Just kind of based off what I've been picking up, what they've been doing with her character, it seems like something big's gonna happen in season two.
Eh, I don't actually. The only things that I
Or not? I
remember
guess
about
they did
season two.
conclude the memory thing.
But no, it's I just love how she's very like they do damsel her a little bit, which is a bit of a shame because there have been a number of times where she's like, you know, in clutches, and I'm like, you can kick, ma'am.
You can,
Use your legs,
hey,
ma'am.
Hiyori,
Uh,
just do that really good kick that you learned off TV.
but
Which, by the way, she did just learn that off TV. Like, she doesn't take martial arts.
she
She just likes wrestling.
she just loves wrestling. She's got
You don't even kick in wrestling.
well, it's I'm pretty sure it's MMA. Uh,
Oh.
cause the that guy gets beat to shit. They like show like a picture of him in a magazine after like a match where he's just destroyed. So he wrestling doesn't get you there. Um, but no, I fucking but like excluding those couple of times, they do establish like every time that they don't let her kick ass, it's for a very valid reason. So I think that it's they do like the same reason that they would not let a dude kick ass. Like the
Right.
when she's trying to go like fuck up some like frog demon or some shit, and Yato like pulls her away and is like, "Your fucking tail is your soul. You need to not.
Yeah.
You need to not."
Like, could you not
Uh,
throw yourself into danger? Thank you.
uh, but
I liked how they let her. So I mentioned how like Bishamon was kind of like the general strong woman character kind of trope in
mm,
anime. Um, but it's not often that you see like feminine girls who are also strong.
yeah,
And I liked how they balanced Hiyori's femininity with her ability to kick ass. It was
yeah.
very nice.
It's she's very good. We also her two friends. They don't get any screen time, but they're great.
They're good.
Like they,
Every time they're on screen, it's a delight.
it's it's one of them is has I don't know anything about one of them because she doesn't mention she mentions like boys and like college. That's like the two things that like her like butch friend ever talks about. But then the like the more like feminine friend that she has, her whole personality is like talking about her waifus. That's all she does.
Yep.
So they love them, love their whole dynamic.
Good for them.
Uh, Also, Hiyori is, you know what, the only good rich character in media. Is the
It's,
she doesn't do anything with it. She's just there.
I didn't even realize that she was rich.
She's yeah no that's they established that she's got like a mega house, and when she's in the hospital, they also established that it's her parents own the hospital, and her dad is like a
Oh,
lead
oh, that's
is like
right.
a
I knew her
lead
dad was a
doctor.
doctor. Okay.
Yeah, they like no, she's a rich girl. That's why her house is so big. And they have like servants. Like the when she was bringing Yukine into her house, like one of the house ladies like came in to like be like, "Oh, hey, Ori."
That's right.
Uh, and I mean, like whatever.
Like, it's just kind of
It's
is.
just kind of like a plot point. Uh, yeah, I really it's just such a fun little. I like every time I think about the show, I think about like the million things that it did fucking perfect, and the fact
It's
that
really
the fact
good.
that it did that to me is something really something else. Like fucking the way that they establish her meeting Yato at the beginning is because
Mm-hmm.
they establish that so so the gods aren't invisible. The gods in the regalias, they aren't invisible. They're just really hard to notice. And the metaphor that they
Right.
gave for that is fucking genius. With the, like how many
Uh-huh.
people do you think work at this store? And then Hiyori's like, I don't know, two. And then she looks over and there's like three other people, and she's like, oh, uh, and that's how the gods work. You just don't really notice them until they point themselves out to you. Uh, and so that's the rule, is that if they point themselves out to you, or you like bump into them or whatever, you might see them, but then you're just going to forget about them pretty soon afterwards. But
Mm-hmm.
in that very brief moment that Hiyori had cognizance of Yato, she saw him about to be hit by a truck, and
And threw
and threw
herself in front
herself
of
in
it.
front of it, which is really smart. Like, that's fucking world building.
Mm-hmm.
uh
Though also, how funny would it have been for the little metaphor if, like, she knew exactly how many waitresses were in that restaurant because she did see Yato. So it would have made sense for her to, like, not fit into his little metaphor.
Yeah, I mean, it like, because there's like two ways that you can read it. It's either Hiyori is just a normal girl like every other person and just so happened to get like brought into the weird supernatural stuff on accident, or she's special and notices more things. And I think that they're trying to go for the former.
What it kind of seemed like to me was it is more in line with the former in that because she noticed the missing poster for, what was the, My Lord?
My lord.
Yeah. She noticed the poster, and so it was on her mind because Yato at the time was calling for my lord, like, so her attention was like drawn, like that was the connection that drew her attention to him
Yeah.
because she saw him before he even stepped in front of the car, like just kind of like passing him on the street when he was calling for the cat.
Uh, yes.
Um, so I do think that the cat there was the connecting factor, which also I think is kind of pointed to by the fact that her spiritual aspect when she's like out of having her out of body experiences is cat like.
She's a cat. it's I really like the way that they do her like cat attributes, because it's not the way that anime traditionally does like cat girls.
Mm-hmm.
It's very much like she's got all the other parts. She's she's like the way that they animate her. Yato like breaks into her fucking her hospital room to like make sure that she's okay,
She
and she just
skitters
skitters
across the room.
away and like puffs her back out.
That girl went off on all fours.
uh, it's very fun. The animation is so like, the fights are very fun, and definitely I didn't notice any like grade A like Bones quality like fight animation. There were definitely moments where it was very 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 good, but there were a lot of it was just kind of like good enough for the majority of it. But the character animation was really good.
I think the kind of like Studio Bones moment is the ablution.
Oh no, yeah, no, definitely the fucking it's fucking it's
Just that freaking eyes.
the eyes
Ugh.
are bad. He turned into like a little dragon for a second,
Ugh.
and then he tried to like he just started like banging into the wall. This sad
Oh
boy.
man.
Uh,
He just wanted to be alive, Andrew.
when I fucking I was thinking about it a lot. I was thinking about like they established obviously people can't see him, like they just kind of don't notice that he's there unless he points himself out, and I get why that didn't happen. But it would have certainly been funny if he was having like a fucking existential crisis and then like accidentally bumped into someone and they were like, "Oh, hi."
I was like, oh, hey, are you okay?
uh No, it's really fucking the way that they set up all the shit. Like, cause they show Yukine just he just like gets dropped into a school because Yato brings him there. Which, you know what, Yato, maybe not the best idea, but you were on call, so I don't blame you.
Well, and also Yato was proving a point.
Yeah, there was something else there, but it's just he really just dropped him right in the middle of it. But the way that they establish that it's not just the good shit that he's missing. Like he listens to kids talking about like how their parents are fighting, and
Right.
he's upset that he isn't there for that too. Like he's not just like they're not glorifying life. They're just saying that he does is not happy being dead,
Right.
which is a really really cool thing that a piece of media could do because a
Mhm.
lot of them don't do that. A lot of them really like to glorify how good being alive is. Uh, which, I mean, it's better than being dead, I guess. Uh, but it's just nice. He's just and he gets all sad. He starts breaking windows.
Yeah.
He trips over a bat, and then he's like, "Well, this is my,
It's like mine
this is
now.
mine now." It's it's such a fucking good little. They really set him up well. He's really 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 well done.
Yes,
I was think
I really agree.
I was thinking about after we watched it, I said something to myself and then it made me laugh really hard, which was uh because I was thinking about, how the climax of his arc is literally him repenting all of his sins. Like
Right.
he has to verbalize them and say that he's sorry for them, which is, you know what? An incredible thing for an anime to do. uh
Mhm.
or he talks about how he was gonna like fucking touch Hiyori, and he's just as ashamed for that as he is for breaking windows. Very good. Thank you, media. But
Mhm.
um, but I was thinking about that after we were done watching, and I and then I said to myself like like Vatican approved boy or like Christian approved boy. He repents all of his sins. He's it's just he's such a they love the show.
It's a very good show, and I'm very excited to get to the second half.
I Oh my god, the second opening kicks so much ass, and it has like good like animation in it too. Oh god, the first opening is fun, but there's a lot of still frames of just like characters moving closer to the screen. Uh, it's fine. The music kicks ass. While we were watching, I looked up the lyrics to that song, and it was I realized I had never done that before. I realized the lyrics to the first opening are literally just it's about killing your past self in a very visual way. like
It's just what you gotta
like
do.
like it's about like the characters like waiting for their past self to like open the door, and then right when they do they just shoot him. Like
Mhm.
it's a fucking wow. That's a song. Uh anyway, so that's any final thoughts do you have about this funny show?
I'm just very excited to get to the next part.
Yeah.
But also we're coming up on an hour.
Yeah, it's exact.
Yeah. Um. Oh, very excited. It's a really good show. I do understand the hype around it now.
Mhm.
Um, and it fully deserves all of it. That's all I've got.
That's I yeah, I can't say anything else either. It's just good. If
All right. Thanks, guys, for
I
listening.
guess that the so the intro, middle, and outro of the show. It's called Sparkling River. It's by the artist Juji Bite. And you know what? Maybe one of these days he'll be on the podcast and he can say this.
We've been chatting about it offhandedly, maybe, possibly.
Well, we tried to see if he had never watched the Goldfish Cracker commercials, um, because we wanted to see if that was something that he could do. But he tragically has seen the Goldfish Cracker commercials.
He doesn't know the saga,
But he's
though.
seen like it's. I guess we could, but it's.
I'm sure we could.
uh, We'll think about it. We'll get back to you.
We'll find something.
We'll find something. We can do, 2 for 1. Goldfish crackers in some fucking anime movie.
Yeah. Hell, we could break format and do a video game because we got one of those coming up.
I guess we could.
We're a media review podcast, not a
I just
animation review podcast.
I suppose that's just such a wild recording idea because we would have to talk about it beforehand and then like 20 hours later, like 20 game hours later, come back, which is gonna be like.
Yeah, but World Ends With You is a hot topic right now.
I suppose that is true. You know what? We'll think about it.
Andrew will think about it. I've already made up my mind.
But yeah, the intro, middle, outro, I already said it, but I'm saying it again. It's GG Bite, Sparkling River. Go watch it on Bandcamp and SoundCloud, and go subscribe to his funny YouTube channel because you know what?
He's a funny guy.
Because he's a funny guy, and I don't think I mean, he's definitely not like a YouTuber. He doesn't post videos regularly, but you'll be fucking notified whenever he decides to make a new funny video.
Hell yeah. And who knows what that's gonna be. Anyway, I'm gonna stop recording.
That's the end of the podcast.
Bye, guys.
Goodbye. And...